On the news, President Tinubu says tax reform bill will not be withdrawn from National Assembly. Court orders final forfeiture of $2.04 million properties linked to Godwin Emefiele. And Oloyede assumes office as acting chief of army staff. Thank you for joining us on the news on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkolie. The National Economic Council (NEC) has officially declared Nigeria's ongoing flood crisis a national emergency, highlighting the widespread devastation impacting millions across the country. At his recent meeting at the State House in Abuja, the Council outlined urgent steps to address the flood-related challenges in the country. This report by TV360 Sydney Okafor tells us more on the Council's key resolutions.
In response to the recent flooding that has claimed 321 lives, the National Economic Council (NEC) has called for a unified and intensified national response to mitigate the crisis. In its 145th meeting held at the State House in Abuja, NEC expressed deep concern on the scale of devastation, with Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo briefing the press on the dire statistics.
There are about 34 states have been affected, 217 local governments, 1,374,557 persons already affected, and 740,743 were displaced nationwide, 321 persons dead, and 2,854 injured.
In addition, the Council recommended an integrity review of Nigeria's waterways and dams to be conducted by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation. To prevent further disasters, it also proposed an annual dredging program to desal waterways aiming to reduce flood risk.
To conduct an integrity review of all the waterways and dams across the country, there was serious emphasis on the need for a massive program of dredging or desilting of the waterways, and have a firm program of continuous desilting almost on an annual basis of our waterways.
On tax reform, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde reported NEC's decision to withdraw the current tax reform bill from the National Assembly.
We can have wider consultations and also build consensus around these reforms for the benefit of the entire country, and also to give our people, for them to know the vision and where we are moving the country in terms of tax reform.
Minister of Finance Wale Edun also briefed NEC on social relief programs, noting that 25 million Nigerians have received 25,000 naira under the Conditional Cash Transfer Initiative.
And that process of having a robust social register where you can reach people directly and help them with payments that allow them to now choose what their priority is and go and then deal with that priority is something that will be ongoing. A society always needs to help its poorest and its most vulnerable, no matter, because relatively you're always going to have people who need help.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum emphasized the Council's commendation for the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI.
On the rationale behind the establishment of NASENI, that is the mandate of NASENI, which is to encourage production of local goods and services, thereby reducing dependency on hydrocarbons in Nigeria.
The National Economic Council recent meeting highlighted urgent priorities, with Kwara State Governor and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, emphasizing the importance of coordinated action to bolster Nigerians' resilience against natural disaster and economic challenges. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
Meanwhile, amidst the ongoing controversy over tax reform bills, President Bola Tinubu has stated that the bill should not be withdrawn from the National Assembly. The special advisor to the President in Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, issued a statement clarifying that Tinubu believes the legislative process should be allowed to continue, providing an avenue for necessary input and revisions. Tinubu's stance comes in response to a recommendation from the National Economic Council (NEC) suggesting the bill be put back for further consultation. Instead, it praised NEC members, including Vice President Kashim Shettima and the 36 state governors, for their advice, but encouraged them to let the legislative process run its course. And tensions ran at a high court in Abuja on Friday when several minors among the defendants accused of participating in End Bad Governance protests collapsed while awaiting arraignment. The court proceedings set for the arraignment of mostly young defendants took a dramatic turn as the children, appearing visibly ill and malnourished, gathered in a crowded dock. Amid inadequate space, some defendants stood outside the cubicle and 4 collapsed suddenly, written in pain and causing commotion in the courtroom. Presiding Judge Obiora Eguatu pushed proceedings to restore order, after which the prosecution requested the removal of the 4 ailing children from the charge sheet, a motion granted by the court. Proceedings then resumed with the arraignment of the remaining defendants, who total 76. They were apprehended across Abuja, Kaduna, Gombe, Jos, Katsina, and Kano states and face serious charges, including treason. On Friday, the Federal High Court in Lagos ordered the final forfeiture of $2.05 million, 7 high-value properties and share certificates connected to former Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Justice Dikpeolu noted that Emefiele failed to link his legitimate earnings from Zenith Bank and the CBN to acquisitions, adding that both Emefiele and the companies in question did not substantiate ownership claims. Among the forfeited assets are 2 duplexes in Lekki, Lagos, an undeveloped plot in Ikoyi, a bungalow in Ikoyi, and an industrial complex under construction in Delta State. In his ruling, Justice Dikpeolu said that the assets were reasonably suspected to have been acquired with proceeds from unlawful activities, and Emefiele's counsel Lalekon Ojo had urged the court to delay the final forfeiture, but the plea was overruled as the court emphasized the absence of any legal claims on the asset from the former governor. The newly appointed Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Olufemi Oluyede, has officially assumed duty following an handover ceremony at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja. The Defense Headquarters shared the update on its ex-handles of the event. Now, Major General Oluyede's appointment by President Bola Tinubu comes as Lieutenant General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja, the current Chief of Army Staff, receives medical treatment abroad. Oluyede, a seasoned military officer and former commander of the Infantry Corps in Jaji, Kaduna, was commissioned as the 2nd lieutenant in 1992 and became a major general in 2020. Oluyede and his predecessor Lagbaja share a long-standing military background as corpsmate from the 39th Regular Corps. And in a bid to ensure security and emergency response to Nigeria's highway, the federal government has introduced CCTV control rooms, starting with a pilot project in Lagos. Minister of Works David Umahi announced the development during an oversight visit by the National Assembly Joint Committee on Works, explaining that the solar-powered facility located on the Adeniji end of the 3rd Mainland Bridge will ensure a 5-minute response time in emergencies covering the bridge and surrounding areas. This technology is set to be extended to other federal highways across the country.
What we have done here is what Mr. President directed, that in all our superhighways, we don't want security to be staying on the road. So this is to be completed in the next 7 days. And what it's all about is that we have the army here, the police, the navy, and even the local security. And we have a boat that is attached to this facility. We have pickups attached to the facility. And so the entire stretch of the 3rd Mainland Bridge and the extension up to Falomo, up to Queen's Drive, being monitored in this room. and the response time to any eventuality, God forbid, is 5 minutes. Whether it's in the sea, or it's on land, or any part of this stretch of our route corridor and bridge corridor and the environs. And so this is a new innovation brought in by Mr. President. And this is what we are also going to be doing in all our superhighways.
By creating this CCTV control room, it has guaranteed the safety of the road users. It has also guaranteed the safety of all the infrastructure along this road, like the handrail, the street light is being guaranteed so that vandalizers will not vandalize all these items.
The House of Representatives has advanced to the second reading a bill seeking to increase the retirement age for health workers in Nigeria. Proposed by Honorable Wale Ahmed, representing Agege Federal Constituency, Lagos, the bill aims to address the shortage of skilled professionals in the healthcare sector, particularly in light of brain drain challenges. Despite some opposition, the bill gained majority support following further clarification from its proponents. This legislative steps aligns with the federal government's 2021 commitment through the Ministry of Labour to raise the retirement age of health workers from 60 to 65, aiming to support healthcare delivery across the country.
This bill, Mr. Speaker, sir, and my colleagues, seeks to give health workers the opportunity to stay longer in service and retain experienced professionals in service to train people who are coming in as other people are going out.
The people that are living for Japa or whatever you call it, they are young men. People that are beyond the ages of 50, 60, they are ready to stay and sacrifice for this country. This is where they want to end their days. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are all aware there is a medical improvement all over the world. So people at the age of 60 are still active and will have the ability to contribute their own quota for the development of their own sector.
There is room, Mr. Speaker, to give opportunity to the unemployed health personnel that are roaming the streets to gain employment instead of retaining. And we all know what we call the law of diminishing returns. It is very natural even in human beings.
As Ondo State prepares for its governorship election on Saturday, November 16, 2024, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has granted accreditation to 112 media organizations spanning newspaper, radio, television, and online platforms. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu made this announcement at a consultative meeting with media representatives at INEC headquarters in Abuja. Yakubu highlighted the media's vital role in the electoral process and called for professionalism and accurate reporting.
As the Ondo State governorship election approaches, I appeal to the media to intensify your accurate reportage that will ensure peaceful elections, especially now that campaign by political parties and candidates is in full swing in the state. I also appeal to you to continue to serve as a counter force against fake news, misinformation, and disinformation. As you are aware, the portal for media accreditation for the Ondo State governorship election shut down at midnight yesterday. The Commission is glad to announce the accreditation of 112 national and international media organizations, newspaper, radio, television, and online, deploying over 700 journalists, technicians, and other personnel to facilitate their coverage of the election. The detailed breakdown of the media organizations and the number of personnel to be deployed will be uploaded to our website and social media platforms for public information.
As we look forward to the upcoming gubernatorial election in Ondo State, and indeed other by-elections coming up in some constituencies, I want to underscore the need for the safety and protection of our journalists. We urge security agencies to make proactive steps to guarantee the safety of media professionals, especially in light of the intensified threats and heightened risk that journalists face in today's environment. Clampdowns, intimidation, and harassment must have no place in a democratic society.
With the lean season approaching, approximately 33.1 million Nigerians, including 514,000 displaced persons in Borno, Sokoto, and Zamfara states, are at risk of severe food shortages between June and August 2025. This alarming projection was revealed during the November 2024 results presentation of the Kade Harmonized Analysis in Abuja, assessing food security insecurity in 26 states and the FCT. Director of Nutrition and Food Security, Noah Kilishi, from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, called for urgent adoption of the Kade Harmonized findings to guide intervention efforts.
The November CH result is apt and comes at this phase of economic stress when we are still grappling with the removal of fuel subsidies, which has sent ripples through the agricultural sector. The major effect is the increased transportation cost due to the high fuel prices negatively impacting on agricultural production. With a spike in fuel prices, transportation costs have soared, squeezing farmers' profit margins and potentially driving up food prices for consumers.
I'm also aware that we have completed sensitization and training of the state analysts in these 10 states. Some 100 analysts from states and relevant departments and agencies, and other CH agencies were trained in readiness for participation in the October 2024 cycle. But unfortunately, due to lack of sufficient data, these states were left out again.
The CH analysis plays a crucial role for assessing food insecurity. It identifies and compares specific vulnerabilities across Nigeria, capturing challenges related to conflict, displacement, economic hardship, and climate shocks. The CH analysis enables us to take informed decisions on where to spend and prioritize our resources. It helps justifying our targeting decisions to address the unique needs in the various states.
We'll go on a short break here, but still to come, Ruben Amorim named as new Manchester United manager. Details of this story after this break. Welcome back. Now here's a quick recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has chosen to keep the tax reform bills in the National Assembly despite recommendations from the National Economic Council (NEC) for the withdrawal to allow for further consultation. Tinubu emphasized the importance of letting the legislative process progress, stating that this approach will allow for constructive feedback and necessary revisions. We also informed you that the Federal High Court in Lagos ordered the permanent forfeiture of $2.05 million, multiple lottery properties and share certificates tied to former Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele. Justice Dende Dikwe-Olu ruled that Emefiele failed to substantiate his claim to the asset with proof of unlawful accusation, leading the court to conclude that the assets were likely acquired through unlawful means. Consequently, the properties valued at millions and located in Lagos and Delta States were forfeited to the Nigerian government as part of the EFCC's anti-corruption effort. Now, in case you missed any of the news bulletin, and for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store and Huawei App Gallery. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's time for business news. Let's now join Okpeyemi Owoseni, who is on standby. What's the latest, Okpeyemi?
Well, the Nigerian government has issued a 9-month ultimatum to individuals that are keeping dollars outside the banking system. Briefing journalists on Thursday after the National Economic Council meeting in Abuja, the Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said the government has unveiled a new policy for Nigerians to deposit dollar bills held outside the formal banking system without scrutiny. The minister also said that 25 million Nigerians have benefited from the federal social protection initiatives, including digital outreach, micropreneurship loans, and sector-specific support for power, agriculture, manufacturing, health, and compressed natural gas initiatives.
So therefore, it is unsafe, it is unsecure, and it is outside of legal limits. They will be allowed without any, they will be allowed forbearance to bring those funds, dollars, to bring dollars cash. Let me emphasize once again, it is to bring dollars that they are holding outside the system to be able to bring them in and credit it to their bank accounts. And as long as it is not proceeds of crime, illicit money, there will be no taxes, there will be no penalty, there will be no taxes, there will be no questions. They just meet the normal know your customer criteria of banks, and they are free, and they have an opportunity to bring in those funds, make them safe, make them secure, and make them available through normal economic activity.
We'll take a short break now and be back with Stock Market Report. Welcome back. The Nigerian exchange market further dipped on the last weekday of trading and the first day of the month by 0.22%, with the market cap at 59.05 trillion naira. The market recorded 5 days of consecutive losses this week. Now, in the aggregate, we see 123 NGX-listed equities participating in trading, ending on a negative note as 23 stocks ended in the bulls and 31 stocks ended in the bears. Now, leading the laggard, we see Aradel Holdings coming out last at an end-of-day price depreciation of 10%. At 445 naira 60 kobo per share. So it's followed closely by LR Lakes, which ended at 3 naira 54 kobo. Now, at the end of the last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we see a total of 888 million volumes of shares across giants and 8,803 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 15 billion naira. Now, when compared to the previous NGX trading day, that's Thursday, October 31st, today's data shows a 67% improvement in volume, 79% improvement in deals, and 3% decline in the turnover. Now, on the global stage, global stocks indexes jumped on Friday, with Amazon.com shares rallying forward the company's stronger than expected results, while benchmark 10-year Treasury yield rebounded from an earlier drop after a weak US job report. This aided the UK FTSE and the US Dow Jones, as you can see from the screen behind me, as the stocks ended in the bulls. Asian stocks, however, experienced a dip as Japan's Nikkei shares average dropped by 2.63%, the first since its biggest decline in September 2024, which was mainly due to weakness in global tech stocks and a shifting stance from the Bank of Japan. Now, from our foreign exchange market, the Great British Pound maintained its 2,000 naira basis point at the black market at 2,275 naira, a streak it has maintained since the beginning of this week. Meanwhile, the dollars and the euros are being traded at 1,735 naira and 1,865 naira at the black market, respectively. That's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Tamilore, for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Okweyemi. Now, on the global scene, Kenya's government announced plans to reintroduce certain tax hikes that led to violent protests earlier this year, with over 60 fatalities attributed to a brutal police crackdown. President William Ruto had previously withdrawn the controversial finance bill in June following the arrest. Now, rights groups condemned the authorities for excessive force and arbitrary detention during the period. During this period, Kenya also swore in a new deputy president after weeks of political maneuvering. Still on the global scene, at least 7 people, including 5 students, were killed and 23 others injured in a blast in Mastung, southern western part of Pakistan on Friday. According to Senior Superintendent of the Police, the explosion targeted a police van en route to escort a polio vaccination team. The bomb, an improvised device attached to a motorcycle near a girls' school, also claimed the life of a police officer. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, which occurred during Pakistan's 3rd nationwide polio campaign launched earlier this week. And finally, on sports, Manchester United has appointed 39-year-old Portuguese coach Ruben Amorim as its new manager following the departure of Erik ten Hag. Amorim will secure the 2 Premier League titles with Sporting Lisbon, has signed on with United until 2027 and will officially take the reins on November 11. United hailed Amorim as one of the most exciting and highly rated young coaches in European football. Now, once he arrives at Old Trafford, club legendary Nistelrooy will continue in his role as interim manager. And still on sport, former Valencia CF player Jose Castillo tragically lost his life in the recent flash floods that have swept through Spain, causing widespread devastation. The intense storms, referred to as Dana, has left significant destruction across the country, with countless families grieving loved ones. The flooding has left part of Valencia in ruins. And that's all we have on our news. Many thanks for joining. See you again next time.